In the early 1920s, two men tested a new bulletproof vest the only way they knew how, by firing directly at each other. Standing just feet apart, they trusted fabric and fate to stop the bullet. This daring photo captures a time when proving invention meant risking your life for it. Taken around 1930, this photo shows members of the New York Fat Men's Club, a group that celebrated size and good living. In an age before dieting culture, these men wore their weight as a badge of pride. A cheerful reminder of a time when indulgence was considered a virtue. In the 1920s, Daredevils Gladys Roy and Ivan Unger took extreme sports to a new level. Literally. Balancing on the wings of a biplane 3,000 feet in the air, they played a game of tennis mid-flight. This jaw-dropping stunt captured the fearless, thrill-seeking spirit of a world still discovering its limits. In 1929, photographer Jack Riley danced fearlessly along the steel beams of the 74-story Bank of Manhattan, hundreds of feet above the city streets. With no harness, no safety net, and only his camera for balance, he embodied the daring optimism of an era building its dreams skyward. In 1908, children's playgrounds looked more like construction sites than safe havens. Kids swung from metal bars, climbed towering structures, and played with little more than courage. This photo captures a time when safety regulations were non-existent, and childhood was equal parts adventure and danger. These 1939 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade floats look straight out of a surreal dream. Giant papier-mâché faces and whimsical creatures drifting through Manhattan. Long before CGI or balloons as we know them, these hand-built creations brought wonder, laughter, and a touch of the bizarre to Depression-era streets. Before automated car washes, inventors dreamed up wild ideas, like circular drive-through pools, where cars spun around in shallow water to rinse off grime. It was chaotic, splashy, and hilariously impractical, yet perfectly captures the unhinged creativity of a world still figuring out modern convenience. In 1927, little Marcia Pinkenfield was crowned the most beautiful child in America. Her image splashed across newspapers nationwide. The contest, both innocent and unsettling by today's standards, reflected an era obsessed with perfection, where even childhood became a stage for beauty and fame. In 1951, the world's most beautiful legs competition drew glamorous contestants eager to claim the title, their smiles as polished as their posture. This photo captures a peculiar chapter of mid-century culture, when beauty contests judged not hearts or minds, but the symmetry of a perfect stride. This photograph shows pilot Charles Godefroy flying his Newport 11 biplane through the Arc de Triomphe in Paris on August 7, 1919. The daring flight was carried out to honor the French pilots who had died in World War I and to protest their exclusion from the official victory parade held after the war. Godefroy's feat required extraordinary precision. The arch's opening is only about 14.6 meters, 48 feet wide, and 29.4 meters, 96 feet high, leaving very little margin for error. The stunt was filmed and photographed, becoming one of the most iconic and audacious moments in aviation history. It symbolized the courage, skill, and spirit of early aviators who risked their lives to make a statement that would be remembered for generations. A shocking photo from the early 1900s shows a baby casually playing with several young alligators at a California alligator farm. Back then, this was seen as harmless fun and a popular tourist attraction. Today, it's hard to imagine anyone allowing such a dangerous scene. A wild reminder of how much times have changed. This incredible photo from the early 1900s shows a horse leaping over a full table of soldiers calmly eating lunch. No fear, no hesitation, just pure trust between man and animal. It perfectly captures the wild, fearless spirit of that era, when danger was simply part of daily life. After World War I, a group of officers gathered to honor the countless horses that served and died during the war. These loyal animals carried soldiers, supplies, and hope through the chaos of battle. And this solemn tribute stands as a moving reminder of their silent sacrifice and bravery. Here's a stunning example of a living photograph. A massive formation made up of over 20,000 people arranged to create a portrait of President Woodrow Wilson. These human mosaics were a popular artistic tribute in the early 1900s, showcasing incredible coordination, patriotism, and creative expression on a grand scale. This 1927 Tour de France photo captures cyclists Julien Verveeg and Maurice Geldhoff casually sharing a cigarette mid-race. Back then, the tour wasn't just about endurance, it was pure chaos. Riders smoked, drank wine, and even fixed their bikes on the fly, proving just how wild early cycling really was. One of the most bizarre trends of the 1950s was phone booth stuffing. The goal? Cram as many people as possible into a single phone booth, sometimes more than 20 at once. It started as a college prank in South Africa and quickly spread worldwide, turning into one of the strangest fads of the decade. Back in the early 20th century, when airships were considered the future of luxury travel, passengers would board blimps using narrow stairways and platforms suspended high above the ground. It looked daring and downright terrifying, but for many, it was the height of modern adventure and prestige. This remarkable photo shows a line of German Shepherd police dogs demonstrating iron discipline, each remaining perfectly still as a cat calmly sits before them. It's a striking test of training and restraint, capturing both the intelligence of the animals and the precision demanded of early police canine units. This unusual photo shows a smiling lab technician tasked with observing couples kissing, all in the name of science. In the mid-20th century, cosmetic companies tested how well lipstick endured real affection. Equal parts awkward and amusing, it's a glimpse into the quirky lengths advertisers once went for beauty research. In the 1930s, famed beautician Max Factor unveiled his bizarre beauty calibrator, a metal contraption meant to measure facial symmetry and guide makeup application. Though it looked more like a torture device than a beauty tool, it reflected Hollywood's obsession with perfection during cinema's golden age. This wild invention, called an auto-thriller, let drivers take their cars on a roller coaster-like track for pure adrenaline. Popular in the 1930s, these rides sent vehicles speeding, dipping, and twisting, a thrilling mix of danger and novelty that perfectly captured the era's love for daring spectacle. In the early 1900s, the Michelin Man, then made of stacked white tires and far creepier than today, often appeared with a band of fellow Michelin men playing instruments in parades and ads. Their grinning faces and eerie charm turned tire marketing into something both unforgettable and slightly nightmarish. The man on the right is Johnny Eck, a famed sideshow performer born without the lower half of his body. Despite his condition, he lived an extraordinary life, starring in films, performing acrobatics, and even walking on his hands with unmatched grace. His story is one of resilience, talent, and unshakable spirit. This jaw-dropping photo captures a circus performer wrestling an alligator inside a water tank, a deadly dance between man and beast. Popular in the early 1900s, Such acts thrilled crowds with raw danger and daring showmanship, embodying an era when entertainment often meant flirting with death itself. Inventor H. L. Baudouin stands proudly beside his massive deep-sea diving suit, a steel giant designed to withstand crushing ocean pressure. Built in the early 1900s, it looks more like a robot than a suit, capturing humanity's bold ambition to explore the mysterious depths long before modern submarines. In a bold marketing stunt, Danish clothier Christian Troelstrup covered his entire building with more than 1,000 coats to catch shoppers' attention. The sight of walls draped in fabric turned heads across Copenhagen, a perfect snapshot of early 20th century advertising at its most creative and unhinged. During World War I, this French church was completely filled with sandbags, stacked from floor to ceiling to shield it from shell fire. The haunting image of sacred walls transformed into a fortress shows how even places of peace were forced to armor themselves against the chaos of war. In the 1920s, after the discovery of King Tut's tomb sparked Egyptomania, Britain embraced all things pharaoh, even at the gas station. This photo shows Egyptian-themed fuel pumps, complete with ornate carvings and sphinx-like designs, blending modern technology with ancient mystique in true post-Tut fashion. This unusual contraption shows an early, short-lived method of transporting prisoners, a sidecar cage attached to a motorcycle. Equal parts inventive and absurd, it offered speed but little security, perfectly capturing an era when practicality often took a back seat to experimentation. This astonishing photo shows Civil War veteran Jacob Miller, who was shot squarely between the eyes at the Battle of Chickamauga, and somehow survived. The bullet never left his skull, yet he lived another 17 years, a living testament to resilience, luck, and the will to endure the impossible. In 1959, hockey goalie Jacques Plante made history by donning the first protective face mask during an NHL game. Initially mocked for it, his bold decision transformed the sport forever. This photo captures the moment innovation triumphed over tradition, and safety finally found its place on the ice. During World War II, British infants were equipped with oversized baby gas masks, eerie contraptions meant to shield them from chemical attacks. Though they looked cartoonish, these masks reflected the grim reality of wartime Britain, where even the tiniest citizens had to be ready for the unthinkable. In 1933, off the coast of Florida, A.L. Khan reeled in a staggering 5,000-pound manta ray. So massive, it dwarfed the men posing beside it. The catch stunned the world, a testament to both the ocean's mystery and humanity's relentless fascination with conquering nature's giants. This photo shows the Dale Creek Bridge in Wyoming, an 1800s engineering marvel that terrified anyone who crossed it. So fragile that trains had to creep along at just 4 miles per hour, it swayed and groaned with every gust of wind. A daring link between progress and peril in America's wild frontier. This photo from the 1950s shows a baby car seat that's anything but safe. A simple metal frame perched on the front seat with no restraints at all. Back then, it was meant for convenience, not protection. A chilling reminder of how far child safety has come since those carefree, perilous days. Here's that very safe baby car seat in action. A tiny child perched on a flimsy frame, right up front, with nothing but trust keeping them in place. In the 1950s and 60s, this was seen as innovation, but today it looks more like a heart-stopping glimpse into a time when safety standards were still finding their wheels. Meet Zach T. Wilcox, the proud owner of the world's longest beard in 1922. His legendary whiskers flowed like a river of time, earning him fame and a place in history. In an era obsessed with spectacle, Wilcox's beard wasn't just facial hair. It was a symbol of patience, pride, and pure dedication to the art of the extraordinary. Behold one of the earliest electric hair dryers, a bulky, space-age-looking contraption that seems more suited for a science lab than a beauty salon. In the early 1900s, women endured the heat and hum of these strange devices, all in pursuit of perfect curls. It's a fascinating glimpse at beauty innovation in its rawest, boldest form. Here's a rare glimpse of New York City in 1904, when the very first tour buses rolled through its bustling streets. Open-topped and packed with curious passengers, these early sightseeing rides offered a whole new way to experience the city's energy. It was tourism in its infancy, and adventure was just a seat away. Here stands the Brewster armor suit, a gleaming metal giant from World War I. Designed to shield soldiers from bullets, it looked more like something out of a steampunk fantasy than the battlefield. Though too heavy for practical use, this early attempt at body armor marked a daring leap toward the protective gear soldiers rely on today. Here's President Lyndon B. Johnson behind the wheel of his beloved amphicar, a car that could glide seamlessly from land into water. Johnson loved to prank guests by pretending the brakes had failed as they sped toward a lake, only to float away laughing. It's a perfect snapshot of power, playfulness, and presidential mischief in motion. Meet Joe Gilpin, the visionary inventor gliding across the water on his motorized surfboard in 1948. Long before jet skis or e-foils, Gilpin was redefining what surfing could be, combining elegance, innovation, and a dash of daring. With his suit and calm composure, he makes revolution look effortlessly stylish. Here's actress Jessie Matthew, effortlessly commanding attention beneath a headdress that's anything but modest. Towering, extravagant, and sparkling with theatrical flair, it captures the unapologetic glamour of its era. One look at Jessie, and you know, this wasn't just fashion, it was show business in full dazzling bloom. Here we see Wilma Smith, the 1930 Queen of the Vineyards, literally crowned by her kingdom, buried head to toe in a mountain of grapes. A quirky mix of glamour and agriculture, this photo captures the playful spirit of the era, when pageantry met produce and the harvest season was celebrated in the most unforgettable way. Before hanging up his glove, baseball legend Lou Gehrig took a wild swing at Hollywood, auditioning for the role of Tarzan. Dressed in a loincloth and armed with a spear, the Iron Horse looked every bit the jungle hero. Though he didn't get the part, this rare moment shows a legend unafraid to step out of the ballpark and into adventure. In old France, the streets once featured these curious contraptions called pissoirs, public urinals designed for convenience and, well, a touch of Parisian practicality. Standing boldly on busy corners, they were both scandalous and ingenious, a reminder that even public hygiene has its own fascinating place in history. This humble car holds a wild distinction. It was the very one driven by Walter Arnold when he earned history's first speeding ticket in 1896. His crime? Daring to drive at a blistering 8 miles per hour in a 2-mile zone. A moment that marked the dawn of traffic laws and the eternal feud between drivers and speed limits. Behold the bold and bewildering Dazzle camouflage of World War I, a riot of sharp lines and swirling patterns painted on warships. It didn't hide them, but rather confused enemy rangefinders, making it nearly impossible to gauge direction or speed. A perfect mix of art and strategy, it turned warfare into a floating optical illusion. Here's a champagne inspector sporting a peculiar protective mask, designed to shield against unexpected bottle explosions. In the days before modern bottling, testing champagne was a risky business, with corks and glass flying at dangerous speeds. Safety met sophistication in this strange blend of hazard, glamour, and bubbly innovation. And finally, here's a fashion statement you won't find on any runway. Peanut sellers wearing suits literally covered in peanuts. Part marketing stunt, part walking snack stand, these quirky vendors turned self-promotion into performance art. It's a charming reminder that in the past, even selling peanuts came with a flair for showmanship.